Anytime the wrong pronouns or the wrong name comes out.
People here don't like queer people, so I'm not safe here either.
It feels like icky. It feels kind of violent. It feels. I don't know.
Up next, as always, we're going to round out the podcast with me reacting to some insane, dumb, or just hilarious LGBT TikToks. Up first, what do you get when you mix a healthy dose of youthful narcissism with TikTok brain? Well, you get something like this.
So your family thinks they're gonna get away with dead naming you and misgendering you this holiday season? No, they're not. You know why? Because you're deranged kazoo kid. You play a wind instrument. You take your mouthpiece and you just anytime the wrong pronouns or the wrong name comes out, and you be obnoxious as shit. Because they'll stop real quick.
So I at least appreciate the self-awareness to know and admit that this is deranged behavior. Like, I generally use people's pronouns or names within reason, but there would be no better way to get me to dig my heels in and refuse to use your pronouns than to try some shit like this with me. Absolutely not. I'd be having none of it. You can go sit at the kids' table, and we will not be accommodating your childish temper tantrums. This is just childish and grating behavior, and it wouldn't be a good look coming from any community. You're never going to achieve acceptance for a community or a movement by being as annoying and grating on others as humanly possible. And it's crazy to me that I even have to explain that to people. Up next, did you know the United States is basically the same thing as the Gaza Strip for LGBT people? I can't even say that with a straight face, but buckle up.
The argument that if somebody like me went to Gaza, I'd get my head cut off by Hamas is just...
I'm so glad someone said this. Also, I'd like to add that I'm worried about getting my head cut off here. People here don't like queer people, so I'm not safe here either.
Y'all, TikTok brain, it really is something. It really is a trip. Seriously, it requires a genuinely astounding and mind-boggling level of ignorance or delusion to suggest with at all a straight face that the United States is in any way comparable to the Gaza Strip, controlled by Hamas, for LGBTQ people. And before you say it, before you hit me with the talking points, trans people are not, objectively they are not, murdered at higher rates than everyone else in the United States. This is a false narrative that's constantly spun by activist groups and agitators to spin up alarmism and support for their cause. The reason that's so destructive is you end up with young people like this, who really have been brainwashed, and unfortunately, they feel needless fear as a result. Things are not perfect, and I don't know that they ever will be, but there's really been very few times or places in human history that are better for an LGBT person than America in 2024. So to remain so scared and to think the whole world here hates you and wants to cut your head off is just totally detached from reality. And honestly, like, I'm not attacking this person. I feel bad for them. They're going through all this fear that's not it's not grounded in reality. So it's needless fear. It's alarmism, and they're putting themselves through distress that they don't need to experience. It's actually really, really profoundly sad. And it's why I criticize the LGBT activist organizations so often for the messaging that they put out, because it really does lead people to these addled and distorted conclusions that negatively affect their lives. That's a real shame. Up next, is being gay an act of violence against trans people? I don't know how to prepare you for this one, so just brace yourself.
My partner and I are both on Grindr. We have not gotten hit on, like, at all. Usually we get hit on, like, fairly regularly. We're from Boston. Pretty much the minute I open that app, I have people messaging me. A lot of them are chasers, which, like, isn't great. But there is legitimate, like, interest, and it is not hard for me to make connections on that app. Compare that to, like, an explicitly gay, queer town where the grinder, like, should be hopping, and it is completely dead. My partner has tried messaging people, and people have, like, flat out been like, no, like, I don't want to hook up with you. I also haven't gotten hit on in person here, like at all. But, and this is where the transphobia really comes in, is that my partner, who passes for cis in a way that I don't, and is, like a bear, is getting hit on a ton. Like, men are all over him in person. And so, like, the contrast between how hard he's being flirted with in person versus how dead Grinder is very much like, oh, you think he's hot when you think he is this specific thing, but as soon as you realize that he doesn't have a penis, you don't actually want him. It feels like icky. It feels kind of violent. It feels, I don't know, insidious, I guess, is really the word I keep coming back to.
All right, listen up, Cupcake, because it's time for some truth telling. It is not, in fact, violent that gay men don't want to have sexual intercourse with someone who has a vagina. That's actually just called being gay. I actually feel like I'm going insane, guys. Let me know in the comments if I'm just losing it. Like, am I hallucinating this, or is this real life? Females are going on gay men dating apps and then claiming that they are violently victimized because men who are attracted to other males don't want to hook up with them. Huh? There's actually something weirdly entitled and predatory about this way of saying that you're essentially a bigot if you don't find me attractive. They're like delegitimizing our sexuality. What happened to it's okay to be gay, huh? What happened to that? Trans extremists like this are actually undermining gay people's identity and acceptance. They are literally and explicitly saying it's not just problematic, but violent for males to only be attracted to other males. That is insane and regressive. And honestly, it's like you're going so far. You're sounding like the Westboro Baptist Church, babe. Get out of here with this nonsense. Just go away. I'm sure there are plenty of people who want to date you or do whatever with you, but you don't need to force gay men into your bedroom when you are a female. And if these are also the biggest problems you have, how poppin' your Grinder DMs are, you might not be that oppressed after all. By the way, and I'm not trying to sound judgy here, but maybe just a little, maybe you could just have sex or hook up with your partner instead of random strangers. What a radical thought, huh? What a radical notion. All right, guys, I can't handle any more of the alphabet people's insanity in one sitting without incurring permanent brain damage. If you enjoyed this, or at least if you got some sick sense of pleasure out of watching me suffer, do consider dropping a like and commenting with your thoughts. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, don't forget to subscribe. We're growing really fast. And if you're listening on audio podcast platforms, please do me a huge favor and go rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever platform you're on. It helps us grow and reach more people. With that, I'll see you all next week.